we're recording, and what we're going to do is we're going to talk about editing audio, recording audio, a little review there, editing the audio, strip silence playlists, all that good stuff. So this is all stuff that's very important. It's kind of like basic beginner stuff, but it's also stuff that's like super, super important that you have to know how to do. So we're going to go into this. The first thing we're going to do is start up a new session here with Command N or Control N if you're on Windows. And I'm going to give it a name here, audio recording 2105. What's going on over there? Puppers is doing stuff. Okay. And then we're going to come down here. Just remember real quick how we're going to set this up. We're going to use WAV files. We're going to do 24-bit. We're going to do sample rate of 44.1. IO settings are going to be stereo mix, interleaved. Sorry, my dog almost destroyed my setup. Well, that might be not a good way to do this. Interleaved. And yeah, I'm going to put it here in my Pro Tools projects. That should be good there. What is up, Jonathan? How you doing, man? All right, let me just put you in the role here real quick. There you go, Jonathan. There you go. Bang. All right, cool. You're pretty late. All right, so we got this here, and what we're gonna do is let's just take a look at our notes here real quick. Well, this is all stuff about like reviewing like the clips and stuff like that. But before we do that, let's just review quick how to record our audio. So right now I'm using this microphone. It's the same microphone that I'm using to talk to you through Twitch here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a new track here. I'm gonna make an audio track, mono audio track. I'm gonna call this one Tony Vox. I'm gonna hit go. And for some reason, my Pro Tools always starts up with the same stuff here. Hold on, let me just go ahead and change this real quick. I have a question. Is my student ID number the number on my SAE email? Yes, it is. Yep, that is your student ID number, that number that's in the beginning of your SAE email. 100% yes. And what I'm going to do here for, let's see here, display, we're going to make it so, when I make a new track here, turn on automatically create new playlists, and then we are going to go over here to editing, no, mixing, automation setup, metering, processing. I always forget what this one is. Where I want to basically, I want to make it so my when I'm recording, when I set up a new track, it doesn't automatically do a it doesn't automatically keep it in what is this in ticks time mode and stuff like that. I can't remember where that is though. I might have to come back to it. I don't remember where that is. My computer, for some reason, it's not flipping it properly. It's probably because I'm on an N1 Mac, and Pro Tools is not 100% happy with being on an M1 Mac. Nope, I don't see it. Okay, all right, we'll come back to that. Yeah, I'll come back to it here in a little bit. It's not going to cooperate with me. So, all right, so we got this here. Let me go ahead and make sure it's not in this rhythmic mode here. Turn that off because I don't want it to be in elastic audio. Hi, puppers. Here, why don't you sit on my lap, babes? There we go, babes. Yeah. She's going to stress out a little bit because her mom just left. Okay, so we're going to turn the elastic audio off here on this track. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hit mute, and I'm going to hit the I button here. Okay, fine. We're going to hit the I button, and when I hit the I button, that's our input monitor. That like shows me basically, hey, check 1 2. Hey, okay, we are seeing some signal there, so everything's looking good there so far. So the other thing I'm going to do before I start recording is I'm going to set up a click track here. I'm going to go to track, create click track, and on this click track, we want the click track for just so we have some timing here. Okay, and oh goodness. Come on, babes. Stay with me, babes. Come on. Right here. Yeah, there you go. In your bed. Okay, so the click track is just so we have some timing here for everything. So when I hit go on this, you can hear that click track. It's a little bit fast. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do some counting stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and double click on this, and let's slow this down to 90 BPMs. So it's slowed down to 90 BPMs. My dog was not eating her food, and now she just knocked her food over, and now she's going to eat it. It's so funny. All right. Oh, what's up, Dempsey? How you doing, man? Let me go ahead and put you in here real quick. All right, cool, man. There we go. Awesome. So everybody's here. Great. Okay, so we're going to set this to 9 BPM because I want to go ahead and count along with this, because this is going to be like, we're going to show you how to do this kind of along with how to do lab 1 in there. And I'm going to go through that again later, but it's basically going to be the same thing. So we're going to see it twice today. So the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change my grid up here. You do not have to do this when you're recording. I'm going to do it just because I want to see everything with my grid. And I'm going to change my grid to quarter notes. So now that we've got it here, check 1, 2, we can see there's a signal going up and down. If I listen to it, hey, 1, 2, check 1, 2, cool. That sounds fine-ish, I guess. Let me listen to it after I record it once, and then hit record on here. It's hard for me to tell if it sounds good or not because I'm the only one here. I'm listening to it in my own headphones, but it's also my voice, so it may or may not sound good. It sounds like there might be some weird issues happening with it just because of those issues we were having earlier. But let's go ahead and record. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Cool. So we can see, I don't know if you noticed what was happening there in the beginning. It was like super loud like this, and it looked like it was clipping. But I was like, you know what? I don't think it's clipping because this over here is not clipping. So I realized that what was happening was my waveform was zoomed in. That's the shortcut for zooming in and zooming out of that is Command Option brackets. If you're on a Mac, if you're on a Windows, it's Control Alt brackets if you're on Windows. So Command Option brackets there, and that's going to make this bigger and smaller. So if we go back and listen to that, let me turn that off, turn this off. Let's listen to this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Great. Sounds good to me. Hold on a second though. Put this cell here. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Great. Sounds good. Not the best quality, but it's good enough for right now. We can hear what I'm doing. I'm doing some recording. So we've got that in there. Now what we can do is we can edit this. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here. Remember our edit modes here, shuffle, spot, slip, and grid. If I want this to slip around and kind of not be attached to that grid I've just made, I can hit my F2 key, which is slip, and I can go down here and I can just highlight this part using my selector tool right here. Let's just go to the selector tool, highlight this part here, and I can hit delete, and it will get rid of that first part there. So any kind of noise that's in the beginning will be gone. Whenever you're doing any kind of recording, you want to make sure that you get rid of that noise. Hold on, let me just reposition my light. The dog seems like she's calmed down a little bit. There we go. Cool. So if I go to the end of this, I can use my grabber tool. I can click on it and hit the right arrow over here. Let's go to the end. Okay. Actually, let's zoom in like this. There we go. And I can do the same thing with the end. I'm going to go ahead and trim this back using my trim tool like this. And I can trim this back like this. So I don't have any kind of problems with anything there. Here you go, puppers. There's all your food. You just spilled it all over the ground. Okay. So I can use my tools like that. That's how I use my tools. But really what we want to do is we want to use all of those tools together. And again, this is kind of a little bit of a review here. We will be getting deeper into this and some of the other tools today and tomorrow. But I'm going to zoom out here. If I want to trim the first part here, I can just grab it and move it using my trim tool if I've got my smart tool selected. Okay. Remember what we talked about the other day with my smart tool. If I'm in the middle of my clip, it's going to be my selector tool. But if I move down to the middle bottom, it's going to be the grabber tool. If I go to the side, it's going to be the trim tool. And if I go to this side over here, it's going to be the trim tool going the other way. So that's how we can do this. And if I want to do a fade up, so if there's any pops and clicks on the beginning or the end or something, I can just go up to the corner and do a little fade right there. So we're going to be going into all that stuff today. That's actually lab 2 with our audio recording. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that one more time. Let's make a new track here. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this track. I'm going to right click and select duplicate, turn off my playlists here and just hit that. And you can see it gives me a track. The inputs and the outputs are the exact same. But the name is mostly the same. It's a little bit different. I'm just going to go over here and go Tony Vox 02, like that. Boom. And here I'm going to label this one Tony Vox 01, like that. Okay. So now I've got that one. I'm going to mute this one. I'm going to mute this one, hit the I key so I can see, check 1, 2. Hey, it's recording onto it. Great. No problems there. Hit the record button. We're going to go back to the beginning. And we've got our click track. Yep, cool. I'm going to hit my 3 key, which is my record key. Remember, we talked about that before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Cool. I did it a little bit louder that time. Let's go ahead and listen to it here. I'm going to go ahead and turn these off. Turn off my mute. I'm going to go ahead and edit this in the beginning right now because I know I don't want all that beginning and end parts there. Go back to the end, hit go. Let's turn off our metronome so we can hear it clearly. Let's listen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Great. Let's listen to this one more time just to make sure it's not clipping. 4, 5, 6. Cool. So you can see, you saw the red part light up in the top over here. And you can see it's a little bit clipping right there, but we can't actually hear the clip. The reason why it's like that is because Pro Tools actually shows you the clip warning indicator actually a little bit before it actually clips. So it's not a full clip in Pro Tools, even if it does turn red. You're gonna have to use your ears when you're using Pro Tools and see if it actually clipped or how badly it clipped or whatever, if it's gonna be a problem or not. Let's listen to it one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, the only problem with that one is that it's a little bit early, but it's not actually clipping. It sounds fine. It sounds great to me. It's just a little bit on the early side, which we're going to fix that stuff in a little bit here. So we've got this track here like this, and we've got the other one above it. But they're on 2 separate tracks, but I'm doing this exact same thing, which is kind of weird. It's not really something we need to necessarily do there. Let's just go in and edit this a little bit. Let's say that I want to take these. Let's make a new track here. New audio track, mono audio track, cool. I'm going to call this one Tony Vox Comp. And right here, just make sure, take this off of rhythmic mode. There we go, cool. What I'm going to do, let's put on relative grid mode. And relative grid mode, what it does is it just makes things, it keeps things in the relationship to the grid. And I'm going to go ahead and listen to both of these. I'm going to listen to this first one first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That one sounds pretty good to me. I'm going to go ahead and listen to this one as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. The tone of my voice is a little bit different from the first one. So let's go ahead and re-record that one so we can get a good take here, a good recording of it. Turn on our metronome here. Let's do it one more time. I'll do it more like I did the first one. Oops, no tracks or audio, record enabled. Let's hit record here. Check 1, 2. I can hear my voice. I don't want to hear my voice. I'm going to mute it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Cool. Let's go ahead and edit that real quick. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom. Awesome. Okay. Now you can see with my grid turned on, when I clicked and moved it over, it's actually linking to my grid right there, which I may or may not want. If I don't want it, I can hold down my command key and basically turn off the grid. It's what I call temporary slip mode. Like this over here, like this on this side. And you can see how I'm actually editing things off of the grid. And the reason why it's going off the grid like that is because I'm holding down my command key. If you're on a Windows machine, it's the control key. It's what I call temporary slip mode. It temporarily disables your grid, so it puts it into like a slip mode just for that moment. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn off the record there. Let's listen to this one here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Great, that sounds good. Let's listen to the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Great. I actually like the second one better, except for the timing on this word to right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hold down my Option key or Alt key on a Windows machine. When I hold down my Option key, it's going to drag it straight up here and make a copy of it. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this number 2 from right here. I'm going to hit Command E to separate it out. And I'm going to pull that up with the Option key. Again, just pull it straight up. Now, what we've got here is this one up here that says comp has both of those on it. So I can listen to this one, and it's got like the 2 from the first take, but it's got all the other ones from the second take. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Cool. And let me just zoom in here, and I'm going to go ahead and turn on my slip mode, hitting F2, and I'm going to just drag this over a little bit so it's right on the money there. Let's listen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Great. And so now we have a good recording of me counting with this click track. 1, 2, 3. A little bit further over. Like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Cool. And this 11 here, a little bit off. 1, let's do this. 10, 11, 12. Yep. Let's listen to this one down here to see what that one sounds like. 10, 11, 12. Yeah, I don't love the way I'm saying the word 11 there. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to drag, I'm going to click on this. I'm going to move, which way? 10, 11, let's see. Hold on, let me listen to it one more time so I can just hear how fast or slow it was. 9, 10, 11, 12. It's a little bit on the slow side, so let's go ahead. I'm going to hit Command E to cut it open there and separate it out. Let's move that way. 9, 10, 11, 12. Great. What are you eating over here? Oh, you're eating a leaf. Okay. Cool. So now, all right, let's do this. Let's listen to the whole thing one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Perfect. Okay, so you can see we've done a couple of things here. One, I've used what I learned a couple of weeks ago about editing stuff to move things around a little bit. We're going to talk about that. We're going to go into it again. I just want to make sure y'all really have this stuff down because this is very important. But then I've also used my other take. I did the counting multiple times in order to get a perfect counting. And so I've used some counting from the second time. Most of the counting's from the second time. But then also I did some counting from the very first time. And then I scrapped, actually I should say the third time because I scrapped that second one entirely, right? But you can see here I've got 3 tracks here. And this is what we don't really want. And this is where playlists are going to come in really, really handy. With playlists, we can do all that editing and everything we just did on one track. And I'm going to show you how to do that here in just a moment. But that's really where we're going with all this stuff. All this stuff is really to kind of get to this end point where we are right now. So we're going to go ahead and delete all these tracks out of here. Hit delete. And I'm going to go ahead and open up my clips list. We can see I've still got all my recordings and my clips in here. So I'm just going to highlight all those. Command Option B or, oh wait, no, Command, what was it? Option, what was it? Oh yeah, there it is. It's Command Shift B, sorry. Too many shortcuts in my head from different programs. Command Shift B or Control Shift B if you're on a Windows machine. This is going to allow me to remove or move to trash or delete my clips. So I'm not using them. I don't need them in here anymore. I'm going to go ahead and start fresh with new clips. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete these from my drive because I know I don't need these again. So I'm going to hit delete right here. It's going to say, are you sure you want to delete them? And I'm going to say, yes, I am 100% sure. What's going on here? Puppy, you've gotten all tangled up here. Hold on one second. So I'm going to say, yes, I'm 100% sure that I do not want to use these clips. So I can go ahead and hit delete. Boom, yes, yes, yes. There we go. And it was saying basically, oh, it's like, oh, we can't delete it. We don't want to delete it. Are you sure you want to delete it? And the answer is, yes, I'm 100% sure I want to delete it because I know I don't need them. If you're ever in doubt about that, do not hit delete because that just wipes them straight off your hard drive. Just gone, gone, gone. If you're ever in doubt, you may want to just go ahead and hit remove, which keeps them in your audio files folder, does not wipe them off of your computer completely. Cool, so let me just Straighten up some things here from my puppy. All right, so hold on 1 second. Okay, so let's just do that again, and let's just see how we're doing it one more time. Gracias. Okay, so hold on 1 second. Okay, so recording the audio, make an audio track. It's going to be mono or stereo. It's going to be mono. Okay, remember, everything is going to be mono. I'm going to give it a name, Tony Vox. Let's call it Tony Counting. I'm going to turn off my elastic audio. That's not something you have to do. It's just something that's like set up on my computer for now. And then I'm going to make this nice and big so you can see it. I'm going to make sure my inputs and outputs are set up correctly. They are set up correctly. Very good. My headphone, yep, set up correctly. Great. We're good to go there. And if we needed to check if anything was out of like not okay there, what we would do is we go to Setup Playback Engine and make sure our Playback Engine is set correctly. This is Pro Tools Aggregate I/O, which is looking pretty good. Buffer size 128 samples. Yeah, it looks good to me. Video engine off, we don't need that. Playback cache size 4 gigabytes, great. Okay, so what we're gonna do in here is I'm gonna hit mute on this. I'm gonna hit the record button, check 1, 2. I'm not gonna hit the input audio, the input monitor button right now because we don't really need to. But check 1, 2, check 1, 2. Great, we're gonna do our counting one more time. By the end of this, you're gonna be sick of hearing me count, but it's better than, it's just kind of the most straightforward way to do this. So I'm gonna hit the 3 key, which is for my recording. Make sure we got our our click track. Yep, I can hear that. Great. Okay, here we go. Ready to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Awesome. Okay, let's just take a listen to that. Turn off my record, unmute. You can see here, it clipped a little bit right on this very first one. I don't think we're going to hear that, but let's listen to it just to make sure we're going to hear it or not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, cool. Sounds great. You can hear there's a ton of reverb on here. With the reverb, the reason why there's so much reverb is because I'm basically in a cement area. They've got cement walls on either side, and there's a glass above me and cement beneath me. It's not a great acoustical area, but no room in this house is very great acoustically. They actually are lots of great acoustics, but nothing great for making a dry sound. Okay, so we have this here. I'm going to go ahead and cut off the beginning part right here. And I'm looking at this, the way I'm looking at this here is if I zoom in on this waveform using my Command, Option, and brackets, you can see here there's all this noise in the beginning. I don't want that noise, so I'm going to go ahead and grab it and go that way with it. So the noise is going to go away. And on the end here, if we zoom in using command brackets, see there's a little bit of noise here on the end. Now I could delete this out by highlighting it and hitting delete, but what I'm going to do instead is I'm just going to go ahead and crossfade it down. The reason why I'm going to crossfade it down is because it's so short that we're not really gonna notice it too much there. So we got that crossfade down. Now, once you do a crossfade, there's a couple things you can do in here. I can go ahead and adjust the end part over here by grabbing down here on the bottom, and I can adjust the end, which is, I might want to do that. Or I can adjust the beginning part here like this. If I go into the middle, see how it turns into the crossfade key? Let me go ahead and zoom in so you can see that, the crossfade symbol. I can click and drag it and adjust my crossfade slope right here inside of the crossfade itself. If I click and drag it left and right, it's got 3 slopes, down, middle, or up. It's not that many options, but realistically, it's fine. I can also move it back and forth. If I grab it down here, I can move my crossfade over, and it's just basically moving the whole thing over to the end right there. So just keep that as a straight line. And I'm going to go ahead and keep it like this. Let's go ahead and give this a listen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Awesome, sounds good. Now I'm going to go over here to my clips and make sure that it's showing my auto-created clips just so we can see everything. You can see all these auto-created clips that are in here, which is something that I like to see. It's off by default in Pro Tools nowadays, but it's something that I like to see. And what I did just then is I just put a little fade up on the beginning here, just to, so we don't hear any kind of things. I'm really kind of like OCD about this stuff, just because I like to make sure I don't have any pops and clicks in the beginnings of ends of things. Now, I don't really pay a whole lot of attention to my clips when I'm doing stuff, but I just want to open this up to show you how clips are being auto-created. So that's how we can do that recording, and that's like a really quick little edit of that audio recording right there. Let's go ahead and do another recording using our playlist. So in here, let's go over here to the edit modes. Here we go, right here, boop, boop, boop. Okay, the playlists in here allows me to record and edit multiple takes of audio on one track. And we're going to talk about the playlist, and we're going to go back and use the editing stuff to kind of flesh out our recording here. But our playlist here, it's what we kind of talked about. Instead of having to make multiple tracks, I can go ahead and use playlists to make multiple recordings on one track. Okay, so the way we do this is we go here to create an empty playlist in our playlist select area up here. That's right here next to the name of the track. So on my recording here, we can see next to the name of the track, hold on, puppers, here, you're just getting yourself caught. Hold on, she's like winding herself around this table leg. There we go. Yes, babes. Okay, so we can see here, this little arrow key here. The arrow key is my playlists area here. I click on that, and you can see right now we don't have any extra playlists. We've got new, we've got duplicate, we've got the one playlist here. We also have this thing for target playlist. That's for when you start to get more extra playlists, you get deeper into Pro Tools, then you can start looking at this stuff. But for now, we're not going to worry about target playlist. So we only have one playlist here, and we can make a new playlist. We can make a duplicate playlist. Duplicate playlist is just literally going to make a copy of this current playlist. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new playlist. So when I click on that word new here, it comes up here and it says the name for the new playlist is Tony Counting 01. It's going to automatically give me a name. So I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to hit enter on my keyboard, and there we go. We got that, and it makes a blank playlist. Now, what you're going to notice is that this little arrow key here for our playlist selector turns blue. When it's blue, that means that there are new playlists, new and exciting playlists in here. Hold on one second. I'm just going to make my ears a little bit more comfortable. There we go. Okay, so we got these new and exciting playlists in here, which right now is just an empty playlist. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hit mute, hit the record button, and we're going to record again. Okay. Make sure my click is on. There we go. Cool. Let's do it one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Awesome. Okay, now you noticed the dog started barking. The dog did not like that one. I also clipped a little bit again, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and listen to this one, hear what it sounds like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so you can hear the dog starts barking right in here. I'm just going to go ahead because we know we can't use that take. We can use some of that take, but we can't use these ones because the dog is barking. Here, let's listen to this. 7, 8, 9, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, there's the dog starts barking right here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that using Command E. And hold on, let me put my clip view name, and also in the clip view, let's put the clip gain info. There we go. So every clip beginning has the name and it has the info here for the how loud it is. And I'm going to go ahead. Let's listen to it. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Cool. Okay, so I got this one here. This is where I can use these again. So I'm gonna hit Command E to separate right there. And I'm just gonna go ahead and get rid of this one. I don't need it. I don't need to look at it. I don't need to worry about it because I know I can't use it. So there we go. We got that edited out. So I just edited that audio. Let's go ahead and make another playlist. I'm gonna go ahead and click on this right here. I'm gonna hit New. I don't even need to look at this. I don't need to worry about it because I know it's going to say 02. The next one's going to say 03. The next one's going to say 04, so on and so forth. So I'm just going to hit enter right here. Okay. My dog is barking a little bit and making sure nobody's coming up behind me. Hey, if somebody's coming up behind me to attack me or something like that, or a dog's coming after me, make sure you tell me, all right? All right, cool. All right. Every dog in this leash is like, every dog in this neighborhood is off leash. It's crazy how people do not believe in leashes in this country. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and record that one more time, or a couple more times, but we're gonna do it one more time right now. Turn on my metronome. Puppers. Puppers. Hey, pups. Come here. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we can get a take in between barks. Those of you who live in a city, thanks. Those of you who live in a city know what this is like trying to do a recording between distractions from the outside world. That dog next door is huge, by the way. It's like a Saint Bernard something. It's a really big dog. Okay, so let's go ahead and hit record. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's like my Oscar the Grouch voice or Grover voice. Are there bears around here? No. There's no bears. There are lots of cows. I'm pretty safe from wild animals. It's just like the dogs. The dogs are like kind of aggressive here. But yeah, I don't think there's any bears here. There's the farm that has chickens, maybe some goats. We heard a donkey. So we're okay. It's a neighborhood, you know. It's all domesticated animals for the most part. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off. Let's go ahead and listen to this. I'm gonna go ahead and cut out the beginning here. Let's listen to it right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Awesome. You can hear there's like a little pop on the end. I'm gonna get rid of that pop. Go ahead and crossfade. Do a little crossfade here. Awesome. Okay, you can see how I'm using this. Go ahead. Let me just do that in slow motion. I used my trim tool here. See, that's my trim tool. When I mouse over it, the trim tool, and I'm just going to drag it forward this way. I'm going to go up to the top and use my crossfade tool. The reason why I have access to all these tools right now is because I have my smart tool on. And remember how we start up our smart tool is right here. This here, our smart tool. Click on this, and it will turn our smart tool on like that. Okay, awesome. Bring this over. Sweet. Okay, cool. So we got that. So now, if I want to go back and check out my playlist that I've been recording up to now, I can go over here and I can click on this, and you can see how it shows me a list of all my playlists. So I've got my first one here. Let's go ahead and listen to it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. So I've got that one. If I want to listen to my second one, I got this one right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? And then if I want to listen to my third one, right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? So we can listen to all of those and hear them, what they sound like. But we're not seeing them. This isn't allowing us to edit them yet. I'm going to do one more recording here. Let's do 2 more recordings, actually. Okay? So I got that. I'm going to go ahead and hit this back to the beginning using my return key to go back to the beginning. Turn on my click. Let's go ahead and make a new playlist here. Click on the arrow, hit new, hit return, because I don't need to even worry about it. I know it's going to be named correctly. And we're going to make a new recording. Let's see. What kind of voice should we use? Let's use whispery voice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Great. Okay, now I know from doing it, I know that my 7 was like super fast, and we can see it right over here. So we'll probably not use that for our final recording, but that's okay. What I'm doing is I'm just highlighting here using my selector tool and hitting delete to get rid of it. I'm going to do a little fade out and a little fade up on the beginning right here. And let's go ahead and take a listen to this. Turn off my click. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, cool. So you can hear it got like off because I was breathing and I was thinking about breathing. You can see the breath is right there. So we got off right there a little bit, but that's okay. We could take things and move them around. We could fix that if we wanted to. What I can also do though is I want to go in here and get rid of that breath. Let me just show you how to do that real quick since we're here. 4, 5. Okay, so you see that, hear that breath? I'm going to go ahead and you can see the breath right there. If you've been looking at this stuff as much as I've been looking at this stuff, we start to be able to see what do these things look like. And I can tell what a breath looks like right there between my words. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight that and I'm going to hit Command E. Now, with Command E, that separates that little area out into its own new clip. And what I've done is I've put in here, if we go to track, if we go to view clip, right here, this one that I turned on is called clip gain info. What I can do is I can go in here and I can turn the gain down on that breath so we're not going to hear it as much. We can still hear that there's a breath, but we're not going to do it much. High-pitched voice next? Yeah, we'll do a high-pitched voice next. We can still hear there's a breath, but not entirely, we're not going to hear, it's not going to be over breathy, right? So let's listen to this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You hear that? How like low in volume that breath is now? 4, 5, 6. Compared to how it was in the beginning. Put it back to 0. 4, 5. Hear how loud it is right there? 4, 5. Right? Let's put it back. 4, 5. You can still hear the breath, but it's more manageable now. And I also breathed over here. There we go. Let's turn that one down as well. And I usually, just a good rule of thumb for these is just turn them down by about 10 dB. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Awesome. There we go. Cool. So let's go in here and make a high-pitched voice. I think that's a good idea, Chris. Thanks for the advice. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to do a shortcut for this. And if we look at the notes, the shortcuts, the note is Control space above the return key. It's this like control. It's like a straight up and down arrow key. Now, Control on a Windows machine, I think that's your Windows key. I don't know what it is on a Windows machine. It's on a Mac. We have Command, Option, and Control. On Windows, you have Control, Alt, and Windows key. I think. Barbara, how you doing, babes? Okay, good. She's starting to calm down a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna hit that key, Control, boom, automatically pulls up my new playlist, hit OK, and we're good to go. So let's do a high-pitched voice. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's getting harder and harder to do that voice. All right, it's like my Mickey Mouse voice. Oh, how you doing, kids? Right? Okay, so I'm going to delete the beginning and go over here to the end and crossfade, not crossfade, but fade up, fade out, like that, all that good stuff there. Let's go ahead and give it a listen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Awesome. Okay. So now I've got these different voices. I can go through and I can listen to these using my playlist selector right here. 1, 2, 3. And you can also actually change, like you can switch between them while they're playing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And you can hear it. It takes a second. It's like a little bit behind me, but it's not that bad actually. It's pretty on point with how quickly it switches between them. So now we've got that. Now, why don't we talk about like seeing all these playlists in one space. So what I can do is I go over here. Wow, the sun just came out. I go over here and I go into my waveform here. And up here, there's an option for playlists. Now, what we're looking at right here, this is our track view selector, like how we're viewing the track. I have a couple different options. I got blocks, which just shows blocks. You don't need to use blocks. Blocks is like old school. Don't worry about blocks. We've got playlists, which is what we're going to use right now. We've got analysis and warp, which we're going to talk about tomorrow. We've got waveform, which is what we've been using. That's the normal one. Then down here, we have automation lanes, volume, mute, and pan. We're going to come back and talk about those later on in another lesson. Okay, so for now, just don't worry about those. Let's go up here to playlists and look at playlists. Now, what playlist does is it shows me all of the playlists I've just recorded, which is pretty awesome. The one we're listening to is the one on top here. All the other ones that are on the track are down here in the bottom. We are not listening to these right now. So if I hit play on this, 1, 2, 3, 4, we're just listening to that high pitched one. If I click on any one of these, it doesn't matter. We're still listening to the top one. If I want to hear a different one, what I have to do is I go over here and I hit the solo key. Now, you see there's also a target key here. But the target button, we're not going to use that for right now. You can learn about that later on. We're not going to worry about that because it just gets a little bit confusing. But the solo button here allows us to listen to different playlists. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Right? And the way that Pro Tools does it is the newer playlists are down at the bottom. Okay, so the newer playlists are either this first one here or down at the bottom. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make another playlist, Control straight line, and hit return. There we go. And now my last one that I just did, you can see it's all the way down at the bottom. This one up here is where I'm going to comp things. Okay, so comping things, I'm going to rename this, and I can just double click it to rename it. I'm going to call it comp.01. Okay, so now it's called comp.01. It's a blank playlist, and I'm going to use this to comp these here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the parts that I like and put them up top up here. I'm going to go ahead and hold down Option to get my tracks a little bit bigger here. Okay, actually, let's make them, yeah, that's good. I like them like this. And I'm going to go ahead and hit the solo key on one of them, on each one, just to listen to them and decide which ones I want where. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm going to take 4 from here and use that one for 4, the first 4. Now, when I highlight stuff, you'll see that this little arrow key comes up over here. See how it's grayed out on these other ones? Well, that means I can't use it. But now I've highlighted something. I click on this, and it sends it up to the top. Whichever one is on top is the one we're going to be comping into. So I got this one here. I'm going to grab 2 of these from here, send them up top, boom. And we're going to go down here and let's go to this one here. So let's get 3 of these. Let's get 2 of these. Send them up top, click, boom. And then these 2 down here, click, boom. And then down at the bottom, these last 2, right there, boom. Oh, my puppers is eating stuff. That's what noise is. Okay. I was like, is something coming up behind me and y'all didn't tell me? Because I'm hearing noises back there, but it's just my dog and y'all probably can't see her. Okay. So now I'm going to make sure all my solo buttons are off. There we go. Turn you off. Now, when my solo buttons are off, what I'm listening to is this part up here across the top. So let's go ahead and take a listen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Awesome. And you can hear all the different little takes that I just did. So once I've got these in here, let's listen to it one more time, just so you get an idea for it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Awesome. Sounds great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit these a little bit further. So I'm going to go ahead and switch this into waveform mode. What that's going to do is going to stop showing me all the other playlists. I've comped them together. I think they sound really good. Now I'm going to go ahead and make this really big. And let's zoom out a little bit like that. There we go. And I'm just going to go in here to all these parts. I'm going to hide these windows here. I don't need them. And I'm going to zoom in on these parts right here. F5 is my zoom key. I'm going to have zoom once turned on, single zoom. Zoom in, boom. So I'm just going to make sure that these are good with each other. And I'm going to do that by putting a little crossfade right here between them. And if I go zoom in here, you can see when I mouse between these two clips, because they're two different clips, I click and I drag. And I'm going to make all the parts between them crossfaded so there's no pops and clicks. There's no weird things with the reverb in this area. Everything sounds really good. So let's go ahead and go back over here. I'm going to start it right here. And I'm going to make sure that whenever I'm editing, it's not going to be starting at the new edit. Now, one cool thing I can use when I'm clicking on my clips is I can, here, let me just make that one more bigger. Let's go extreme. Extreme. Okay, cool. Okay, when I'm clicking on my clips, if I want to get to the end of the clip or the beginning of the clip really quickly, I just use my arrow keys left and right, and it's going to take me to the end of my clip. So I can see here's my end of my clip. Good. I'm going to go ahead and click on this next one and go to the end over here. And let's go ahead and edit this one down. You can see that the tails are a bit different here. If I click and drag left and right, I want to do the tail like this. I'm going to crossfade just a little bit like that. What I could do is I can also move this over and just drag the beginnings and ends of these like that a little bit. If I wanted to, and I can move it around. But if I move it too much, you see how it's starting to get into my other counting right here. So we want to avoid that so it doesn't crossfade into that one there. This should be good. 1, here. 2. Let's listen to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Awesome. So that sounds good now there. Now, actually, before I get going too much further with this, let's go ahead and here, let's do this. Let's go ahead and keep that one like that. But I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this counting so we have an A, B. We can go ahead and A, B between them. So this comping here, I'm going to go to duplicate this, hit duplicate, and it's going to comp 02. Great. Now, with comp 01, I'm going to go ahead and delete all my edits that I've just done. I'm going to delete these crossfades so we can hear what it sounded like before versus what it sounds like now. And let's go back to comp 02. We're going to come back and do that in just a second. Go to the end over here, zoom in. Oops, there we go. So we can see there's like, if I go this way with this one, you can see how it's getting the tail of that one. So I want to go this way. And this one here, yeah, good. Okay, so we'll go right there. Just do a little crossfade, boom. Okay, I'm going to skip over here to the end of this one. See, there's a gap there. I don't want that gap for sure. It looks like I got some space to play with. Let's just see what's going on with this one here. Okay, so I'm going to put it right there. I'm going to move this one right up to the gap. Make sure they're not going too far. Yeah, we're good. We got a little bit of space to play with right there. Just a little bit. Boom. Maybe I can take this end part here and drag it that way. So it's a little bit more in the middle. That should be good right there. Let's go to the end. What are we working with? Okay, that's just the end of everything. Cool. So now I have all these. So if we look at this, we can see all the edits that I've done. Here's all the edits, these little crossfades right here between them. I've used my edit tool, my selection tool, my trim tool. And if I go to comp 01, we can see how everything looks a little bit different. Everything's like a little bit different. Let's listen to the comp 01, which is my original comp. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So listen to this right here. There's a pop right here after this number. 4, 5. Hear that pop? 4, 5. Right, little pop right there. This one right here, I can hear that something else is coming in right here. 8, 9, 8, 9. There's like a little weirdness to the breath. 8, 9. Okay, and you can hear there's a gap here. 10, 11, 10, 11. Although it sounds pretty good even with that gap. Let's go over here and go over to my number 2 comp, and let's just hear if it sounds better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, that sounds so much better, right? Let's just listen to that in little pieces. 4, 5, 4, 5. Right? No more pop. 4, 5, 4, 5. Hear that pop? 4, 5. Got rid of the pop. Awesome. Let's hear this one here. 8, 9, 10. 8, 9. Sounds great. 8, 9, 8, 9. There's like a little bit of a weirdness there. Now, you might be going, Tony, that weirdness is so small that nobody's ever going to hear it. Yes, maybe. But don't like settle. There's two things. Don't settle and don't be precious. I know they might kind of like sound like they kind of go back and forth, but don't like make it perfect, make it amazing, but make sure that when it's done, it's done. Like don't get too precious about it, but make sure that it sounds really, really good, especially for this stuff. Because once you're good at this, comping this stuff doesn't take very long once you're good at it. That might take a while to get good at it. But yeah, Carlos says, anyone else not hearing any of those things sounds good to me. I agree with you, Carlos. Thanks for backing me up there. I think it sounds really good. You're talking about the original one. Okay. Yeah, that's right. I might be a little bit more of a perfectionist about this right now, but you really, really, if you're doing a profession, like if somebody's paying you a lot of money to record and edit and mix and comp and stuff like that, they're paying you a lot of money. You need to make sure it's perfect. I've gotten stuff from people like recordings, like vocal recordings from people that's like all sorts of like problems all over. And they're like, I don't hear what you're talking about, but I do. And if I play it for a professional, they're going to hear it as well. So make sure you train yourself to make sure. I would run it by like a teacher, run it by somebody. If you're ever in doubt if it sounds good or not, make sure you run it by somebody to make sure that they can sign off on it if you're concerned about it. But the second comp here definitely sounds perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And it's also working with that metronome pretty well here. So let's go ahead and listen to this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Great. That sounds really good. Now, if there's any kind of timing errors in here, well, I've still got this here. This last 12 was a little bit off. 10, 11, 12. And it's a little bit, I don't know, fast maybe. So I'm going to go ahead and move this over a little bit. I'm just going to grab it right where the 12 is. Let's move it over. Now, I'm just going to click and drag it over to the right just a little bit. There we go. Let's listen. 10, 11, 12. That sounds better to me. Let's just do it a lot just so we can hear what it sounds like if I do this. 10, 11, 12. Okay. So you could kind of decide where you want it to be. Now this one here, I'm going to grab this and drag it backwards and then crossfade this here like this. 10, 11, 12. Great. That sounds really good now. Okay, so we got this here. Now, this is seriously what people do in the industry to make things sound perfect. I'm on the fence about how much of this you should do because I like a little bit of imperfection in the recording, but I did read an article one time with somebody who kind of made the case for me that you should be making it as close to perfect as possible, is because we're talking about, a recording that's going to last forever. And if there's anything in there that bothers you, even a little bit, you need to fix that now because you're not going to be able to fix it in the future. If it's something that you like, then keep it. And if somebody says, why did you keep that? Because I liked it. And that's a good enough reason. What's not a good enough reason is, why did you keep that? Oh, I didn't hear it. That's not a good enough reason. You've got to hear these things. You've got to make sure that you're hearing these things and that you're able to catch these little errors when they happen. But if you catch an error or something that's like not perfect and you like it, keep it. That's totally fine. If you're turning in a project to me and I'm like, why did you keep this? It's a little bit off or it's a little bit weird. Yeah, I liked it. I like the way it made the person sound more, like vulnerable or whatever. There's a lot of stuff like that out there. For example, Radiohead. Anybody listens to Radiohead, they keep a lot of imperfections into the recordings because they want it to sound a certain way and they've got this kind of vibe to it. So great. It also makes it sound less sterile and perfect. If you listen to a lot of, like, let's say Maroon 5, for example, you're never going to hear any mistakes in a Maroon 5. It's all, there's auto-tune, there's lots of different takes happening, stuff like that. Lots of things are going on, and there's they're both like bands, but they're They're both like, they both use electronics and real instruments and stuff like that. But their approach to the final product has been very, very different approach. There's not one that's right or wrong. They're just different. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and stop there for now. I put a pause on it. Let's take a break. 10-minute break. It's now 10:46. Let's be back at 10:50.